one of the best unit for our maths content. So in our arithmetic topic, just the subtopics are unitary method, ratio proportions, percentages, profit loss, simple interest, compound interest. These are the main topics. Hello, listen to try to understand. So there are the overall 6 to 7 topics, very important topics in our arithmetic maths content, right? And two more important topics are there: time and work and time and distance. Okay, right. So first of all, a ratio and proportions. Yes, it's a very important topic. It is related to ratio and proportions completely based on our textbooks. So 6th class, 7th class and 8th class textbooks. These are the classes related to our arithmetic topics. Only arithmetic is in our textbooks 6th, 7th and 8th class. Okay. So right. So what is the basic concept? Basic concept. What are the basics? Okay, right. So ratio and proportions. Yes. First of all, what is the meaning of ratio and proportion? These are the different concepts. So first one is ratio and types of ratios, some problems related to ratios. And the next one more important concept is there, proportion and definition of proportion and what are the types of proportions and related examples. Okay, let us start the topic ratio and proportion. The first definition is ratio. Okay, right. So ratio simply defined as ratio is a comparison between two quantities. The quantities must be in the same units, right? For example, A and B are two variables. General usage, just generally we are following. In case of ratio, two terms A and B are two quantities in the same units. Quantities are in the same units A and B. The ratio is defined as A is to B or A by B. Yes. The second term is always non-zero number. Any non-zero value, second term. So because what is the reason? Yes, within the denominator value is always non-zero value. So in case of division, so try the division. Is it possible to write the division? Only denominator is not zero, right? Non-zero value. Okay, in this case, ratio A is to B. So A is called first term. A is called first term and B is called second term. So the first term is called antecedent and the second term is called consequent of the ratio. Okay, right. So just try to one example, a ratio, example of ratio, 30 and 40. So 30 and 40. So what is the ratio in between the numbers? So 30 and 40. Just write 30 is to 40. So what is the least common factor? Write a 10 table. 10 table divides, that is nothing but a 0, 0, 0. The final ratio is 3 is to 4. Yes. So it is the ratio between the given quantities 30 centimeters like 40 centimeters or 30 kgs or 40 kgs, whatever it may be. The final ratio is only 3 is to 4. Yes. Right. In case 3 is to 4, it is in the least terms or not. So for 3 and 4, what is the highest common factor? HCF, highest common factor of the both quantities A and B is only 1. 3 and 4, there is no other common factor other than 1. So that's why it is in the simplest form. Ratio is in the simplest form. Simplest form means there are no other common factors, right? So the next concept is types of ratios. Friends, next concept is types of, right? So in case just write the ratio A is to B. A is to B is one of the ratio. So types, mainly 5 types of ratios: inverse, duplicate, subduplicate, triplicate and subtriplicate. Mainly there are 5 ratios, types of ratios. So let us check the ratios, types of ratios. The first one is inverse ratio. So inverse ratio is defined as 1 by A is to 1 by B, or it is just write the cross multiplication. So 1 into B and A into 1. This is equal to B is to A, right? And the next one is duplicate ratio. So duplicate ratio is defined as a square is to b square. So duplicate of a is to b is defined as a square is to b square. And the next one is subduplicate ratio. So just write subduplicate ratio. It is defined as root a is to root b. Okay, right. Subduplicate ratio of a is to b is defined as root a is to root b. Next, so triplicate ratio, a triplicate. So triplicate ratio is defined as a power 3 is to b power 3. Okay, right. So triplicate ratio of a is to b is defined as a cube is to b cube. The next one is subtriplicate ratio. Okay, right. Subtriplicate ratio. So a power 1 by 3 is to b power 1 by 3. Yes. So these are the types of ratios. So remember that mainly just we are defining based on one ratio. There are 5 types. First one is inverse ratio, and the next one is duplicate ratio, and next one is subduplicate, triplicate, and subduplicate. And more than that, one more important ratio types of ratios. One more thing is one more point is that is compounded ratio. Right. So next one is a very important one is that compounded. Okay. So compounded ratio. It's a important one. Just so in case of the list of ratios, maybe two ratios are there. Just write. So in case of compound ratio, just write more than 2 ratios. A is to B and C is to D. Yes. So compound ratio of these A is to B and C is to D is defined as the product of first terms. Product of first terms AC is to the product of second terms BD. Yes. Or we can write that the continuous multiplication of list of ratio compound ratio. So just listen. The list of multiplication of list of given ratios is also a compound ratio. Yes. So see, so in case, in other words, just write that A by B into C by D. It is equal to AC by BD is equal to AC is to BD. It is also right in two ways. Just the product of first terms is to the product of second terms is called a compound ratio, or the continuous multiplication of a list of given ratios, either minimum 2 or more than 2. The list is called a compounded ratio. Okay. So let us check the examples based on the types of ratios. The best example, the first question. So write. So just write example. Example problem. Find the compounded ratio. Find the compound ratio of subduplicate ratio of subtriplicate. So find the compound ratio of subduplicate ratio of subtriplicate ratio of 64 is to 729. So try to solve it. It is a very important question. Just it is based on the 3 concepts. So find the compounded ratio of a duplicate ratio of a subduplicate ratio of 64 is to 729. Okay. So just try to understand. So first, what is our given ratio? So once you check the solution, so what is our given ratio? 64 is to 729. Okay. Yes. So first of all, just try to write the subduplicate ratio of this given 64 is to 729. What is the meaning of subduplicate ratio? Just apply the square roots of the parts of the ratio. It's called subduplicate. Okay. So square root of 64 is to square root of 729. So it is equal to, yes, it is a perfect square number. 64 is a perfect square number, and it is also 729 is also a perfect square number. Yes, just write 8 square within the square root of, and within the square root of, it is also 27 square. So once you check the product, is it correct or not? 8 into 8, hello, 8 into 8, so 8 square 64, and 27 into 27, it is also 27 square is equal to 729. Okay, good. So just write the cancellations. Square root and squares will cancel. Just write the final answer is 8 is to 27. Yes. So subduplicate ratio of the given ratio is 8 is to 27. Right. Similarly, subtriplicate ratio of, it is called subduplicate. So similarly, we are finding subtriplicate. Yes. So what is the subtriplicate ratio of the given ratio? Just write cube roots. 64 whole power 1 by 3 is to 729. 729 whole power 1 by 3. Okay. So right. So 64 is clearly a perfect cube number. Yes or no? So just write 4 into 4 into 4. Yes. So 4 is multiplied by 3 times. 4 into 4 into 4. So 4 fours are 16. 16 fours 64. Yes. So definitely it will be right into as 4 cube. Yes. And similarly, it is also a 729. So once you check, 729 is a perfect cube number. 9 into 9 into 9. Yes. So 9 nines, 81. 81 nines, 729. Okay. So just write it is 9 cube. Yes. So just substitute the values. It is 4 cube, and write it is also 9 cube within the cube roots. Whole power 1 by 3. Whole power 1 by 3. Okay. So write the cancellations. So cube and cube root, cube and cube root. The final answer is 4 is to 9. Yes. So just we are finding compounded of subduplicate of subtriplicate of the given ratio. Yes. So subduplicate ratio of the given ratio is 8 is to 27, and similarly the subtriplicate ratio of the same ratio is 4 is to 9. Yes. The final answer is, just what is the compounded ratio? What is the compounded ratio of these two? Yes. So compounded ratio of these two is defined as the continuous multiplication or the product of first two terms. Product of first two terms is to product of second terms. Okay. So 8 into 4 or 8 into 4 equal to 32. 32 is to, so 27 into 9, it is equal to 32 is to, just write the multiplication, 243. Yes. Yes. So 32 is to 243 is the required answer. It is the compound ratio of the given ratio, subduplicate and subtriplicate of 64 is to 729. Yes, it is the best example. So it is related to three concepts: compound ratio, and a subduplicate ratio, and subtriplicate ratio, friends. Okay. And one more important concept is there, proportion. Yes, it is the only the concept of ratio and types of ratios. Okay. The next important concept is proportion and types of proportions and related examples. Let us check the proportion definition and types of proportions. Okay. So first of all, what is the meaning of proportion? Yes. So proportion. So in case just we are defining the proportion based on the four quantities. Yes, simply it is defined as equality of two ratios is called a proportion. Equality of two ratios. Yes. So let us write the first ratio may be A is to B and the second ratio is C is to D. Equality of these two ratios is called proportion. So therefore, what that implies, A is to B is equal to C is to D. Yes, equality of two ratios is called proportion. Or other words, we can write that in case of, this is the one of the definition, or one more definition is that in case of A, B, C, D are in proportion, so both way implies. So these four quantities are in proportion. We can write that A is to B equal to C is to D. Okay. Yes. So in case of four quantities A, B, C, D are in proportion, we can write that A is to B equal to C is to D. So sometimes just we are following in case of proportion, just we are following four dots. A is to B is proportion to is equal to C is to D. So just four dot symbol is proportional to is equal to. So right. So A, B, C, D, four quantities. The first one is called first proportional. So in case of proportion definition, just we are following by the four quantities A, B, C, D, where A is called first term and B is called the second term and C is called the fourth. And first proportional, second proportional, third proportional, fourth proportional. So A is first proportional, B is second proportional, C is third proportional, D is our fourth proportional. Yes. So A, B, C, D. So based on the ABCD, just we are defining a proportion definition. This is the definition of proportion, right? So equality of two ratios is called simply proportion. So based on the definition, just we are assuming four variables ABCD. So like ABCD are in proportion, just we can write that A is to B equal to C is to D, or A is to B is proportion is four dot symbol. Just it is representing these ratios are in proportion, right? So okay, in this case, and one more result, very very important one. In case of four quantities are in proportion, product of extremes equal to product of means. So that is AD is equal to BC. It's a very very important one. In case of four quantities are in proportion, A, B, C, D are in proportion. So definitely we will follow the one condition. Product of extremes, n terms. Extremes means n terms. Product of n terms is equal to product of mean, middle terms. Okay. So very important one. AD is equal to BC. So this is completely a definition of proportion and a condition of a proportion, right? Equality of two ratios. Simply, so try to understand, remember that proportion is equality of two ratios. So just AD equal to BC. So just we are following one formula, AD equal to BC. So next one, example. Let us check one example related to proportion. So one example, 30, 40, 45 and 60, like A, B, C, D. So is the quantities, let us assume that the four numbers, any numbers, no problem. So just write a best example, 30, 40 and 45, 60. So is it make a proportion? Yes, they are the numbers are in proportion. So just write the ratio between the first two. What is the ratio between the first two? 30 is to 40. Yes, is equal to. What is the ratio between the last two? So 45 is to 60. Yes. So what are the common factors in between the first two and the last two? What are the common factors? I think 10 table divides. So 10 is a common factor is 10. So just write the cancellations. It is equal to 3 is to 4. Okay, right. So what is the highest common factor of last two parts? So what is the highest common factor? So it is a 15 table. 15 table divides are 5 table. So just write 3 table, 5 table. and 15 table. The better one is the highest common factor of these two last two parts is 15 table, right? So 15 threes, 15 threes and 15 fours. Yes. So just check the list of given list of four numbers. So they are making equality. So equality between the first two, the ratio between first two is equal to ratio between the last two. So simply these numbers, the list of four numbers 30, 40, 45, 60, they are making proportion. They are in the proportion, right? So next important concept is types of proportion. So this is the only definition of proportion and one example, right? The next concept is types of proportions, and after that check the related examples. Okay. So types of proportions. Okay. So first one, there are three types. So types of proportions are there, mainly three types. One is mean proportion, and the next one is third proportion, and the next one is fourth proportion. So there are three types of proportions. One is mean proportion or mean proportional. Okay. So mean proportion, and the next one is second one is third proportional, and the next one is fourth proportional. Okay. So first one, mean proportion. Okay. So in case of AB, so just let us define the mean proportion of the two variables A and B, or X and Y, no problem. So what is the mean proportion of A and B? So in case of mean proportion of A and B, let us assume one number X, A, X, B. It is the mean proportion. Let us assume that it is the mean proportion of AB. And write into proportionality relation. Yes. So A is to X is equal to X is to B. Okay. So after that, just write the equality of ratios. First, let us assume that X is the required mean proportion. So where X is, let us assume that in case of A and B, two numbers or two quantities, just we are defining the term mean proportion. That is, let us assume that X is the mean proportion of AB. Right. After that, we are following one step, that is A comma X comma B, where X is the mean proportion of AB. Yes. So in this case, write into proportionality condition. So write into proportionality relation or condition, right? So A is to X equal to X is to B. So after that, we are following, in case of two ratios are equal, product of extremes equal to product of means. Okay. So just followed by means. X into X, it is X into X, X square equal to A into B. So that is simply AB. Okay, therefore the mean proportion, just we are assuming the mean proportion is X, therefore X equal to, our required number mean proportion X equal to root AB. Okay, so it is a complete explanation. So let us, once you check that, it is a complete explanation. So no need to write this complete explanation. Remember that only one condition, that is the best one, is in case at anywhere we are following one single formula. In case of any two quantities, the main proportion of that quantities must be square root AB. That's all. That's enough. Okay. So remember that in case of mean proportion of AB, so just remember that the mean proportion, in case of mean proportion at anywhere, we are following a single formula, that is root, just square root of AB. That's all. So no need to write this complete explanation. Okay, time waste, right? So better to remember that in case of mean proportion of AB is defined as square root of AB. Yes. So just write one example related to mean proportion. Okay. So what is the mean proportion of 4 and 9? Yes. So find the mean proportion of 4 and 9. It's a very important question. Just write a mean proportion of two quantities. Yes. What is the mean proportion of 4 and 9? So just write only direct formula without a complete explanation. Just write square root of 4 into 9. 4 9s 36. Okay, so root AB, root of 4 into 9, that is equal to square root of 36. So 36 is a perfect square number within the square root. So just write 6 square within the square root, square and square root will cancel, just 6. So answer is 6. Yes. So types of proportions, just we discussed as first type, that is main proportion, and with the example. The next one is third proportion. Okay, and the next one is fourth proportion. There are the remaining two types are there. Types of proportion. So one is main proportion, just completed. Next one is third proportion. Okay. So second type, third proportion. Okay. So in case of AB, the third proportion of AB is defined as, just write A, B, X. Okay. So just better to write into just in the ratio form. So A is to B is equal to B is to X. So in this case, just write the proportionality, equality of two ratios. So split into two ratios, A is to B. B is a common variable in both A and both the first ratio and the second ratio. A is to B equal to B is to X. And after that we are following product of extremes equal to product of means. Okay, product of extremes, A into X. AX is equal to product of means, B into B. Okay. So just our target is X, third proportional. So in case of AB, let us assume that the third proportion is let it be X. Just our target is finding X. X equal to B square by A. Okay. So it is a complete explanation. It is a complete explanation. Without writing the complete explanation, just we are following a simple trick. The last step, just remember that. So at anywhere in case of A and B, third proportion, the third place value. What is the meaning of third proportion? So the first place, it is the first proportional, it is the second proportional, just missing, just we are finding the third proportional, third place value. So see, in case of third proportion of A comma B, we are following just B square by A. It is a direct condition. So remember that and try to understand. So without writing complete explanation, it is, I think, a time wasting process. Remember that one condition, third proportion of AB is B square by A. So similarly, what is the meaning of main proportion of AB? Main proportion of AB is simply square root of AB, and third proportion of AB is B square by A. Okay. And one more definition, one more point is there. Types of proportions. The last one is fourth proportional or fourth proportion of ABC. Okay. So next one. So fourth proportion of, so types, third one, fourth proportion. So in case of A, B, C, so in case of ABC, what is the fourth proportion of ABC? Yes. So A, B, C, let it be X. The fourth place. So one of the missing number at the fourth place, that is called fourth proportion of a list of values. So in case of 4 values, the last one is fourth proportional, that is a missing one. Just we are finding the last one, that is let it be X. Okay. So just write in case of 4 numbers, in 4 numbers they are in proportion, just we are finding X. Simply just follows the product of extremes equal to AX is equal to BC. So X is equal to BC by A. So without writing these steps, just write direct condition. In case of ABC, in case of 3 quantities ABC, the fourth proportion is defined as the product of last two, B into C by A, BC by A. Remember that the formula BC by A. Okay. So let us check the formulas once again. Just write the main conditions. Okay. So these are the complete explanations. Just write only the final steps. Just the first one is main proportion of AB is defined as root AB, and the second type, third proportion of AB is defined as B square by A, and the fourth proportion of ABC is defined as BC by A. So these are the three types of proportions: mean, third, fourth proportion by the conditions with the help of ABC. Remember that root AB, B square by A and BC by A. Okay. And one more example. Let us check one more example. For example, 1 by 125 is to 1 by 25 is equal to 1 by 5 is to 1 by x. So it is one best example. If 1 by 125 is to 1 by 25 is equal to 1 by 5 is to 1 by x, then what is the value of x? So x equal to, find the x value. Okay. So see, so it is the best question related to proportion concept. Two ratios. First two ratios. What is our ratio? The first one is clearly 125. 125 is to 1 by 125 is to 1 by 25 is equal to 1 by 5 is to 1 by x. So in this one, just one of the variable is there, that the last term 1 by x. Just our target is finding x value. So what is the value of x? So clearly these two given that, so once you observe that clearly the given equation is in proportion, because the product of first two is equal to product of next two, right? So in this case we are following direct condition of proportionality condition, product of extremes, product of means. So 1 by 125 into 1 by x is equal to 1 by 25 into 1 by 5. Okay, right. So this one is equal to 1 by 125, that can be write into as just write denominators 1 by 125 into x. 125x is equal to 1 by 25 5s. It is also 125. Just write the denominators. Just write the cancellations of denominators 125 and 125. So 1 by x is equal to 1, and that implies x is equal to 1. Okay. So write the next concept. The next concept is, so ratios, the continuous ratio. Just write into two ratios, different ratios are there, A is to B like B is to C. Just we will write into as a continuous form. It's a very important concept. In case of two ratios, we are following one best trick. A is to B is equal to A is to B equal to AB, and C is to D is equal to C is to D is equal to, so just different variables CD. Okay. Continuous ratio AB A is to B equal to AB, and the next one is B is to C is equal to different variables CD. Okay. So just write where B is a common variable. Let us check the variables. So AB and BC, where B is a common variable. So just a continuous form ABC. Yes. So write into, in case of the continuous ratio between ABC, three parts, ABC is equal to multiplication of first two, multiplication of first two, multiplication of middle, and multiplication of last two. Yes, AC is to BC is to BD. Okay. So right. So this is the one of the best trick just we are following in case of the continuous form of two separate ratios. So let us check one example. So in case A is to B is equal to 4 is to 3. Next, and B is to C is equal to 5 is to 6. Okay. So write the continuous form, the continuous ratio in between A, B, C. A is to B is to C is equal to just write multiplication of first two. 4 5s 20. Okay, 3 into 5, multiplication of middle, 3 5s 15, and the multiplication of last 3 into 6, 3 6 are 18. So is there any common cancellation? Because of there is no common cancellation, the reason is 15 is odd number and 20 and 18 are even numbers. There is no common factor. The final answer is 20 is to 15 is to 18. Okay. So in case of the two separate ratios, A is to B is 4 is to 3. So in case of two separate ratios, but we are writing to continuous form, we are following the symbol tree. Okay. And one more important concept is there related to the same model. In case of three ratios, A is to B, B is to C, and C is to D. So three different ratios. In case of three different ratios, A, B, B, C, C, D, write into continuous form, continuous ratio. A is to B is to C is to D, 4 parts. So just that case, we are following one more important result. So let us check the continuous ratios. Okay, so just write important one. A is to B is equal to AB. Next, B is to C equal to CD, and C is to D equal to AB, CD, EF. Just the main reason is different variables. Hello friends. So try to understand, these are the different variables. That is, our target is only writing the different variables. There is no meaning of AB is as AB, BC as BC. So there is no meaning, right? So only try to understand that we are following the different variables, any different variables. Okay. So right. So three ratios. First ratio, second, third. These are the three ratios. Just write a single step into continuous form. A is to B is to C is to D is equal to. Okay. So in this case, just a directional method. We are following a directional method. Try to understand. So just write without confusion. At anywhere we can write easily by the only directional method. So what is our directional method? First, so just write a part of A. So we are following all the first terms. It is related to A, part A. And part B is within the direction of this one. Okay. And the cross direction. And the part C is based on the directional method B, D, E. And the last one is the multiplication of last three. So try to understand. This is the best one. I think it is the best method to write the a continuous ratio of three ratios as A is to B is to C is to D. Okay. So write A, C, E. It is our first part. B, C, E. And the next one is B, D, E. So last one is B, D, E, F. Okay. Yes. So based on this condition, just try to solve one problem, one example related to three ratios, right into a continuous form. Okay. So example, A is to B is equal to 1 is to 2. B is to C is equal to 2 is to or 3 is to 4. And C is to D, AB, BC, CD. Yes, a continuous variable in between first two and the next two, where B is a common variable and C is a common variable. A, B, B, C, C, D. Yes. So 1 is to 2, 3 is to 4, and the next one is 5 is to 6. Okay. So just write a total continuous form. A is to B is to C is to D is equal to. So we are following a directional method. 1 into 3 into 5 is to next 2 into 3 into 2 into 3 into 5. So direction 2 into 3 into 5. Next 2 into 4 into 5. And the next one last 2 into 5 into 2 into 4 into 6. 2 into 4 into 6. Yes. Okay. So just write the common factors. Cancel the common factors. What are the common factors? I think so. 3 table is there. No. So any 2 table? No. So just write the multiplication. So 3 5s are 15 and next one is 6 5s are 30 and the next one is, so 8 5s are 40 and the next one is 48. Yes. So because of it is a odd number, the remaining are even numbers. It is the final answer. 15 is to 30 is to 40 is to 48. Okay. So ratio proportions, these are the very important tricks we are following always. Try to solve the problems. Okay. So next, ratio proportion, try to solve some basic questions. So one of the example, 60% of A equal to 60% of A equal to 4 by 5 of B. 4 by 5 of B. If 60% of A equal to 4 by 5 of B, then A is to B equal to A is to B is equal to. So just try to understand one of the percentage, 60% of A equal to 4/5 of B. So this is the equation, given equation. Then what is the ratio between A and B? So just what is the ratio between A and B? Okay. So first just write the given equation. What is our given condition? Try to understand. 60%. So 60 by 100 of A, that is A into A, equal to 4 by 5 of B. 4 by 5 of B. Okay. So cancellations. I think the highest common factor is 10 table or 20 table also. 23s and 25s. Okay. Next. So denominators. One of the important cancellation is that 5 table divides. Within the denominators, 5 table divides 5 and 5. 5 once, 5 one time. Right. The remaining parts of the ratio is 3a equal to 4b. 3a is equal to 4b. Okay. So what is the final ratio between a is to b? That is a by b. Try to understand. So a by b by the cross multiplication order. A by b is equal to 4 by 3. It is equal to 4 is to 3. Yes. So the final answer is 4 is to 3. Okay. So right, and one more example, basic questions. These are the basic ratio related questions. So next example. So sum of any two numbers is 40 and difference of the same numbers is 4. Then just write if a plus b or sum of any two numbers is 40 and difference of the same numbers is 4, then what is the ratio? What is the simplest ratio between the numbers a is to b? Okay. So next question, if a plus b equal to 40 or sum. So in case a plus b, the word given that the sum of any two numbers, we can write the statement also. So sum of any two numbers 40 and the difference of the same numbers is 4, then find the ratio between that numbers is also the statement type question, right? So or a plus b equal to 40, a minus b equal to 4, then what is the ratio between the numbers a and b? Okay. So just we are following a easy trick. In this case, in case of sum and difference, we are following a direct shortcut method. In case of finding a is to b, that is equal to, in case of part of a, write the summation 40 plus 4, and the second term b, difference of the parts 40. So difference of the parts 40 minus 4. Okay. So it is equal to 44 is to 36. Yes. So 11 table divides or 4 tables. Sorry, 4 table divides 11 times and 9 times. So answer is 11 fours 11 fours and 9 fours. Answer is 11 is to 9. So it is a simple trick we are following in case of objective examinations. It is a simple trick. Objective examinations we are following direct method. Okay. And what is the complete solution? Okay. So complete solution, just write the complete equation solving. Alternate method. It is the only shortcut method. So one more method is there, a regular method, equation solving. Okay, right. Check the equation solving. So first equation a plus b 40. Next equation a minus b is equal to 4. Second equation. Okay. So just add the equations. Addition of 1 plus 2 implies 1 plus 2 implies. So in case of plus, as it is, we are following the direct addition. A plus a. Hello. A plus a. 2a. Plus b minus b will cancel. Plus b and minus b will cancel. So the left side only 2a. 2a equal to 40 plus 4. 44. Okay. 2 table divides 22 times. So a equal to 22. Are you understand? So a plus b 40, a minus b 4. So addition. Equation 1 and 2. Addition of 1 and 2. So easy one. There are no coefficients. Just write a plus a 2a and plus b minus b opposite signs. The same variables will cancel. And right side 40 plus 4 44. Okay. 2a equal to 44. A is equal to 22. Okay. So next one is to find the b. 1 minus 2. Equation 1 minus 2. Okay. So in case of equation 1 minus 2, signs will be changed. Okay, a plus b 40, a minus b is equal to 4. The signs will be changed. So opposite signs. We are following the opposite signs in case of subtraction. So plus a will be changed into minus a, and minus b will change into plus b and minus 4. Okay, a and a cancel, and b plus b 2b. So 2b is equal to 40 minus 4. That is 36. So 2 table divides 18 times. Yes. So b value is 18. Yes, sir. A is 22. The original values are A is 22 and B is 18. And we can write the ratio A is to B equal to 22 is to. So in this case, A is to B is equal to 22 is to 18. Yes, sir. 11 twos and 9 twos. So answer is 11 is to 9. Same answer. We are getting the same answer in case of by the shortcut method or complete solving method. Okay. So any method we are getting the same result. It's a very important one. Remember that we are following a shortcut method. Better to write in objective examinations only shortcuts, right? Okay. And one of the important topic in arithmetic is percentages. Okay. So let us check the basic concept of percentages, right? So what is the meaning of percentage? What is the meaning of percentage? Okay. So per every 100, a simple definition we are following in case of percentages. So per every 100 is called percentage. So every 100 rupees, just the expected value is called percentage. Okay. So and one more definition is there. Any fraction with denominator is 100. Denominator is 100. So like 17 by 100. This is equal to 17%. Or 25 by 100. So without writing the cancellation, it can be write into 25%. So any fraction within the denominator is 100. That one must be write into as a percentage. Okay. Right. So just check the percentages, basic concepts and related formulas. Okay. Right. So in case of a by b, any fraction within the denominator is 100. It is also write into as a percentage. Okay. Best one. In case generally we are following x percentage. Generally we are following the variable x or variable y percent or x percent. So x percent generally write into in two ways. X by 100. X by 100. It is a fraction form. Hello. So x percent can be write into as a fraction x by 100 or write into decimal form. So what are the zeros? Number of zeros within the denominator? 2 zeros. Yes. A single one, a single digit, just like x, denominator is 2 times of 0 is 2 times. So write into 0.0x. Okay. So it is a very important condition we are following always in case of percentages. X percentage. So x percent equal to the fraction form. We are following each percentage. There are two different forms. One is fraction form, fraction like a by b form, and decimal form 0.0 or 1 point something. Okay, with the help of decimals. Right. So in case of x percentage, just write x by 100, that is equal to 0.0x. We are following two different forms of each percentage, fraction and decimal. So best example, 5%. 5%. Right. One example. So 5% equal to 5 by 100. It is a fraction form. Right. Better to without write the cancellations. Okay. 5 by 100. Or moreover that 0.05. Okay, so every percentage can be written into two different types, two different forms. One is fraction form, and one more is decimal form. Okay, clear. And moreover that, remember that. So, and every fraction, every percentage can be converted into fraction, and similarly, every fraction can be converted into percentage, and every decimal is also converted into percentage. So moreover, these are the very important. Okay, the next our concept is percentages are converted into fractions. So very important concept. So try to understand. The next concept is percentages are converted into fractions. So note, so very important. Percentages are converted into fractions. Okay, so just write percentages are converted into fractions a by b. Percentage convert into fraction. Okay, so symbol one, 5%. So what is the fraction of 5%? So we are following divided by 100. So in case of percentages are converted into fractions, so we are following always the given number by 100. So for example, 5% convert into fraction. So that is 5 by 100. This is equal to 5 ones to 5 20s. It is equal to 1 by 20. Yes. So next, 20%. 20%. What is the fraction of 20%? So the given percentage 20 by 100 divided by 100. The given number 20 with percentage, just fraction form 20 by 100. So 20 ones to 25s. 20 table divides, direct cancellation, 20 ones to 25 100. So 1 by 5. Okay. So similarly, we can write the 75%. Yes. What is the fraction? 75%, 3 by 4. 100%, that is equal to 1. So 75% is 75 by 100. It is equal to 25 table divides 3 times. So 25 table divides 4 times. So easy one, 3 by 4. Next one is 100%. Yes, it is equal to 100 by 100 is equal to 1. Okay. So in case of integers, these are the integers related to percentage. Integer related percentages. So convert into easily we are writing as a fractions. But sometimes we are following. Sometimes just we are following the mixed percentages. So we are facing the difficulties based on the mixed percentages. Okay. So in case of mixed percentages, how to write as a fractions? Let's see. So for example, 33 1 by 3 percentage. 33 1 by 3 percentage. What is the fraction form? Okay, right. So just write it is a mixed percentage. First convert into improper fraction. Improper. So 33 3 is multiplied to 33. 99 plus 1. So 100 by 3 percentage. Okay. Right. So next step, it is only in case of only within the with the help of percentage. Just write the next step. So 100 by 3 whole divided by. So in case of percentage, we are following whole divided by 100. Yes. So it can be write into 100 by 3 into within the denominator 3 is multiplied to 100, 300. Yes. So 100 divides 1 time and 100 divides 3 times. The final answer is 1 by 3. So remember that. So 33. So therefore 33 1 by 3 percentage equal to 1 by 3. Okay. Okay. Next step, 16 2 by 3 percentage. 16 2 by 3. What is the equivalent fraction? So once you check, it is a easy one. Similarly, same, we are following the same steps for 16 2 by 3. So 16 into 3, 16 threes, 3 16s are 48 plus 2, 50, 50 by 3. Okay. So our first step is 50 by 3 percentage. And the next step is the given percentage 50 by 3 within the denominator, write 100. Okay. So this is equal to 50 by 3 into 100. Okay, 50 table divides 1 time, 50 table divides 2 times, 50 ones, 52s. And the remaining value is 1 by divided by 3 into 2. It is equivalent to 1 by 6. Yes. So therefore, 16 2 by 3 percentage is equal to 1 by 6. Okay. So these are the important notations, and similarly 14 2 by 7, 14 2 by 7 percentage, it is equal to 1 by 7. So same method, we are following the same method. So these are the basic notations, percentage to fractions. And moreover that, and one more important concept is that okay. So next we'll meet the next live section. So thank you one and all. Please subscribe the Anu publications. Thank you.